Hello. Got a leaky reactor? Take it off the news. Problem solved. Candidates won't play ball? Take them off the news. Problem solved. Did NAFTA displace 10 million Mexicans to the United States? Take NAFTA off the news. Problem solved. If I show these above newsworthy stories being taken off the news, then it follows to those who control the news, the problem is not the actual affliction, but rather the public thinking about it. For example, are we all talking about leaky reactors and the candidates that won't play ball and exiting NAFTA? Or are we ignoring reactors, chatting up the most money candidates, and building a wall? Let's take a look at these three things. Let's see how this works. I used to work in the nuclear industry, and as such, I was very interested when the triple meltdown occurred at Fukushima. It was a cable news saturation story, 24/7, 45 minutes out of every hour for a week. Then one day I came home and turned on the news and nothing. Switched to another news channel, nothing again. A third news channel, nothing again. Did the ongoing crisis at Fukushima suddenly become not newsworthy on all channels overnight? This is a hydrogen explosion. This photo was taken just before the news blackout. Just become not newsworthy overnight, or is there something else going on? GE, the company that built these reactors, saw its stock drop 11% in the days following the accident. 11%, that's a lot of money. Rich investors get very nervous when they suddenly lose 11%. They got to stop that bleeding. Entergy, the company that owns Indian Point, saw its stock drop 9% in the days following the accident. Indian Point is the #1 most dangerous reactor in the U.S. as rated by the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, due to its location on fault lines. 20 million people live within 50 miles of Indian Point. 11 million right down the Hudson River, directly downwind. At Fukushima, we were somewhat lucky. It's right on the shore, so most of the contamination blew off over the unpopulated ocean. Not so at Indian Point. Any plume would blow right over New York City. Can you imagine that? Do rich investors really want New Yorkers thinking about shutting down all their reactors as Germany did? How much money would be lost? People were talking about Fukushima when it was on the news. Now they don't. Just take it off the news. Problem solved. What else I was talking about? Politicians that won't play ball. What exactly is not playing ball? I'm going to read this so I get it exactly right. President Eisenhower warned, "We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted power, both sought and unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for a disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist." Here are two mirror opposite voting records on military-industrial complex spending bills. I've labeled them, and I think you can see this is Senator Obama before he was president. I took the spending bills and labeled war spending, Pentagon spending, and you can see all the yeses. This candidate always voting yes, send trillions of taxpayer dollars to the military-industrial complex spending bill. The other candidate always voting no, don't send money. One of these candidates is not playing ball. Let's see what happens to him in the news. Our presidential elections begin with the Iowa primaries. The Republican convention gathered in Iowa and took a poll of about 12,000 people. to find out who everyone likes. As the first big poll, this initially populates the stage. I have here the results of the 2011 Iowa straw poll. As you can see, Michelle Bachmann has narrowly beat our politician who won't play ball by less than 1%. Please notice also near the bottom, Rick Perry at 4.3% and Mitt Romney at 3.4%. And now for the news. Here's NBC. They don't show this while they're speaking this. NBC. We have a top tier. It's Mitt Romney, Rick Perry, and Michelle Bachmann. That's the top tier. Mitt Romney, Rick Perry, and Michelle Bachmann. Pretty bad. Here's CBS. We have a new top tier. It's Perry, Mitt Romney, and Bachmann. Those are his exact words. CNN at least has the subtitle correct down the bottom. Bachmann narrowly beats Paul in the Iowa straw poll. But he's saying the same names. He is saying, we're looking at Mitt Romney, who continues to be the front runner. You can fix that. Now he's the front runner. But we have also Rick Perry and now Michelle Bachmann. And here's for Fox ball players. There's a new top tier, at least for now. Romney, Perry, and Bachmann. Who's everyone talking about the next day at the water cooler? Romney, Perry, and Bachmann. A politician who won't play ball? Take him off the news. Problem solved. Now for my last topic, NAFTA. There's a saying in Mexico, no corn, no country. No maíz, no país. Corn for tortillas, corn to feed livestock, corn for barter and sale. But agricultural provisions of NAFTA removed tariffs, and as government subsidies were lifted, cheap mechanized corn from the U.S. flooded the Mexican market. The price paid to Mexican farmers for their corn fell by 2/3. Millions of small farms foreclosed. They were lost, and they were bought up cheaply by the same companies that just put them all out of business. And those companies, those big companies, consolidated all of that into large prime acre plantations. Public Citizen reports that as farmer wages fell by 2/3, the deregulated price of tortillas, their bread, shot up 279%. Can you imagine if your wages fell by 2/3 and your price of food went up almost 300%? What would you do for food? What wouldn't you do? Do you consider coming to the U.S. and maybe getting some kind of job and sending money home to your family? As Public Citizen reports, I already said that, sorry. As poverty spread, businesses and ports and railroads were sold off, and urban wages fell. The North American Congress on Latin America reports that by the end of 1994, 1 year after President Clinton signed NAFTA into law, the Mexican economy had collapsed. How far-reaching, how important our vote. It's not on the news. Arguably, we collapsed the Mexican economy. I don't recall seeing that on Channel 12. I just see stuff about walls. Public Citizen reports that now, with more than half the country in poverty, immigration rose from 3.9 million before NAFTA to more than 11 million after the year after. Oh, sorry, by 2011. In fact, this 3 million pretty much flatlines all the way back to the first graphs I saw about 1930s. There's always been 2, 3, 4, 3, 2 million Mexicans here. But this spike here after NAFTA is a first. But the news doesn't talk about NAFTA when it talks about building a wall between people. Some make a lot of money off NAFTA. Infighting, demonizing, poverty, that's all okay. Your money's safe. So you just take NAFTA off the news. The problem is solved. So, I talked a little bit about the personal dangers of reactors and the economic danger of NAFTA. By extension, the WTO and Trans-Pacific Partnership, which they're pushing through now. Get ready, we're getting kicked again. But aren't those two things really just a symptom of the third topic, bad politicians? But do we blame the fox for eating the chickens, or the farmers for putting the fox in charge of the hen house? What is the extent of media influence on public opinion? Where is the best place to put our energy? Chasing foxes one step after the shysters? Or talking to our neighbors, the root cause problem, and saying, don't let the TV talk you into putting the fox in charge of the hen house again, please. I think we lose these presidential elections in the primary. We get talked out of the good. We're left trying to figure out which representative of the rich will represent us best, which will advance evil at the lesser rate. Fortunately, there's good information available on the web. The writing's on the wall. It's right behind the TV. Thank you.